Hello, dear brothers and sisters in light. Welcome to this second God Talk. And I'm just guided to yesterday was God Who, and today the conversation is going to be around God What. And what I'm hearing and feeling, God is the light that we each are. So through various teachings, and again, I'm going to be sharing more teachings that have flowed through me, innate teachings, as I have connected with the scripture in the Bible. And I know it to some it may seem sacrilege or blasphemous. I don't identify as religious at all. I am an emanation of God. I am a spark of God's light here in physical form, and I believe that is true for all of us. So, as one who grew up going to Sunday school, my parents didn't attend church. They sent us kids off to Sunday school in the morning, and we would go, and I had fun. I had fun at Sunday school. All the singing of the songs. I really, really enjoyed that. And Sunday school became a bit of a chore after a while because I had a lot of questions, and I've always been someone who has had a lot of questions about the big scheme of things and what the heck we're here for. Why are we in physical form? And who governs us? And as a 51-year-old woman, I have always felt very much I am self-governed. No one is the boss over me, and that probably didn't fare well for me very well in my early years, because I've always had that feeling that I, through source, am my own boss or moral compass, if you will. And I strongly believe that all humans, all children of light, if they are aligned with the heart that beats within, in a perfect world, there would be no need for these man-made rules and laws. And in a perfect world, there would be no war, because children of light, you and I and all God's children, innately know that to cause harm to another is to inflict that same wound, that same harm upon ourselves. And so it's absolute insanity. Like, it makes no logical sense in the big scheme of things. It actually works against humans and those, what do we want to call them? Overlords, underlords, the demons that have run rampant throughout the consciousness of, or throughout the collective of the human consciousness. They don't care about you and I. They don't care about your children. In fact, they want to use your children as they see fit. They want a world in which they govern your children. They actually decide what is right and true for your children as well as you. And I'm calling full stop and rebuke that nonsense in the name of Jesus the Christ, our dear brother. We are children of the light, and we do not consent to such wickedness. And we don't talk about it. And this has gotten us to this critical crux point upon this planetary realm, where we are in, it feels truly, on some level, we are in a race to save God's children, to save the children of light, so that those dear children may easily and joyfully fulfill their divine birthright, what they came here to do. And we each came here with a sacred and holy mission. And any of us that are here at this time, younger, older, I feel like it's in my age group in particular, that there's a call for us to wake up. Wake up. Yeah, like, and it could even be, so I was born in 1970, so maybe even those of the 60s and stuff. Certainly by my generation, there's very little, and no offense to anyone. I'm not here to offend. I'm simply here expressing from my viewpoint, from my perspective and experience as being a human who has had a truly and at times a devastatingly painful human experience. And here I still am, nana nana boo boo. And what I've actually learned is that there is nothing or no one outside of me that can take me down. I can do that to myself. Nothing externally can take me down. And it's the same for all of us. And so for the 50 somethings, there's a real call to bring some level of consciousness back into your experience. And even those who have identified, I seem to have a hot flash every time I get on here talking about God with all of you. Even those who have, some level of belief, and when I say this, I mean those who identify as some religion, those who identify with a group, a religious organization, wake up, wake up. I mean, we can't, and this was always the thing about church and Sunday school and all this kind of stuff that really offended me on it. I don't even know why. Well, I do know why. It's because I've always been aware and conscious of my connection to God, even though I've had lots of issues, if you will, with the concept of God throughout my lifetime. As a young child, I used to make unreasonable demands upon God to prove to me the existence of this consciousness. And so we're at this crux point on the planet where we have so many, I'm going to just say it, people who lack faith, people who lack faith. And, we can see it in our families, we can see it in our communities. All these people who for years have professed faith have shown up at church on the high holidays, not every Sunday. There's, no offense to the Catholics. The Catholics like to just show up on the high holidays, though, right? Like Easter and really Christmas. I don't know what another high holiday is in the Catholic calendar. And anyways, so you go to church on the high holidays. You sing praise. And you do all this, and then you go out in the world and, you forget, or you've forgotten, or maybe you never even were taught the blessing and lessons of Jesus and his life. And I feel like there's a lot within religion who believe that, Jesus, a man, is going to come back and save them. And it was 8:55 there. I personally don't hold that belief. And 8:55 comes to 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9. We're in a cycle of completion. We're wrapping things up. And I actually do not feel, I have never felt that Jesus as a man, as one individual man, was going to come back and save humanity, save the world. And I feel like there's been a great disservice done to the children of God, the children of light, through these kind of teachings. Because as I understand it, God is a consciousness. God is not some man sitting on a throne in the clouds who is casting, lightning bolts at us when we do something bad or when we sin. As I understand through, and again, most, if not, I would say 90% of the things I share come through my own personal experience. I don't have any formal teaching with respect to religion or scripture or astrology or any of these things. It's all through my personal practices, which are devotion to my spiritual essence. They come through I most easily receive when I'm in nature. And then just this stuff flows through. So again, I'm not intending to offend anyone. I'm simply sharing wisdom as I understand it, as it's been delivered and received through my heart space. So I believe Jesus and the way that Jesus, our brother, saves, because we're told he's our brother. So that means that we emanate from the same source. We have the same, I won't, but we come from the same lineage, the children of light, the children of God, sons and daughters of God. And I'll get into more of the sons and daughters of God when I share with you some of the stuff that came through as I was reading the book of John. And it was really, what was mostly coming through was the absence, and what I was guided to make note of, correct in some ways, is the absence of the divine feminine principle, the absence of the divine mother in her true glory as the giver of life. So when I hear, the second coming of Jesus, the second coming of the Christ, in my interpretation, and I feel that it is the correct interpretation, is that we are the second coming of the Christ. Through our remembering that Jesus is our brother, we resurrect our divine light, our divine blueprint within our life. Now, that doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean we're all here to be great teachers or anything like that. Jesus's finest teachings, and the way I feel that Jesus saves, is through the teachings he left. Compassion, forgiveness, calling out the falsehoods, calling out the deceit and the demons as he saw them, calling out these governing bodies, these collectors who are feeding off of the blood, sweat, and tears of humanity. So the Jesus save idea, for me, Jesus saves, really comes from Jesus. Through our acknowledgement of Jesus as our brother, we begin to breathe life back into our experience. And as a flower of life, a tree of life, we come back online to the heart of the Christ. I also believe that when Christ, so Jesus the Christ, it's bigger than Jesus. It's bigger than Jesus. That may be controversial. I said it. I'm not going to take it back, and I'm not going to apologize for it, because when we bring in the divine feminine principle, we have the Christos Sophia, which is the divine feminine and the masculine in union, that create together in union the divine child. So, I feel, and particularly for women, we have a lot of work to do within our own personal experience, our own personal lives. And again, this is a critical time on the planet. There's lots going on the planet. And until we begin to get honest with ourselves, and if there's not a mass spiritual awakening rather quickly, because we can flip this script on its head in an instant, truly, and we can get back to, not back to living, we can get back to basics of what it means to be a divine human, what it means to be a child of God, a child of light. And my generation, the 50 somethings have been very busy acquiring all kinds of things. Busy, 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 busy. Hardly any time for anything, it seems. People of my vintage are very busy running around to pay for things that matter little in the big scheme of things. Like if you died tomorrow, um, you don't take any of it with you. You do take the blessing and the lessons of light, of the energetic being of light that we each are. So a spiritual awakening is called for, and it's one heart at a time, waking up to the fact that they are divine. And if we don't, if people don't wake up, if the children of light don't wake up, it's not good news for humanity, because the ones who have been controlling this planetary realm don't have plans that work out for you or your children or me and my child or anybody and their children. They want you perpetually and your children to be human slaves, and it's even deeper and grosser and more disgusting than that. It's in fact vile what they would like to do with your child. Okay? And again, you can no longer feel that anything puts you above another dear human. So and what I have seen, I'm sorry, I'm kind of going all over the place. I hope something here is understandable. What I have seen, this great big divide, what has been shown is that there seems to be that there's those that have and those that don't. And those that don't somehow are less than those that have. When it comes to the demonic agenda, which we see playing out on the planet, it doesn't matter how much you have, you're going to be knocked down to level playing field with the have-nots. And it's going to affect you more greatly because the have-nots already know. The have-nots are already used to not having much. So the more that you have, the more wealth that you have, or the more perceived wealth that you have, the harder you're going to fall if you don't wake up. And waking up to God consciousness, because that is what I believe God is. God is a consciousness that lives and breathes and resides within our human experience. And it is up to us as the children of light. Divine royalty is our birthright. And I'll get into that in another video. It is up to each of us to wake up from the slumber, wipe the sleep from our eyes, remove the veils of illusion, anything that is creating dis-ease, discomfort in your life, anything that is getting you fired up and worked up and pitting you against your brothers and sisters of both genders, of either gender, any sexual orientation, anything like that, any religion, any race, any socioeconomic status, anything, anywhere you live in the world. Because if one thing the last couple of years has shown us, it doesn't matter where you live. This is a global agenda. And I am strongly encouraging my fellow Canadians, don't be a knucklehead for your whole life. Wake up. Our government is a captured operation. They don't care about you. And yes, the wealthy, and this is what I've seen a lot in Canada and worldwide, it seems to be that those who are more affluent seem to follow along with any laid out agenda for them much easier. They just want things to go smooth. They just want to keep things status quo, blah, 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 blah. And that is not the way that humanity is going to thrive and grow as a collective. I feel like maybe that's it. So, what is God? God is a consciousness that lives and breathes inside your heart. How does Jesus save? Jesus saves us through our own recognition that we too are the Christed light. We too are a seed of the Christ, and we too are here to resurrect our light through and after the wound, if you will, through and after the wound. And we have been deeply deceived and distorted through generations of time. And again, I would say in particular, really the last 100 years, but the last 2 generations have seen a tremendous decline in the moral compass of humanity, a tremendous decline in basic human decency, kindness, and compassion. Empathy is nearly non-existent anymore. The education system is a bunch of foo-la-la and not even truly teaching children, certainly not allowing children much space to be unique. And that's because those who seek to manipulate you and do things with your children have been seeding. And here in Canada, with the introduction of the Common Core program back in the 80s, 84, 85, it's been a steady and rapid decline in one's ability to use their own mind. Common sense isn't a flower that grows in everyone's garden. And yet, it doesn't take much to get back into the innate wisdom that resides within. We, you, me, all of us have the keys. All of us are a seed of light who came here to plant our feet firmly in our human experience, to go through all that we've had to go through, and we've gone through a lot. We've all been traumatized, and it is through our courageous walk with our very own heart that we come back online, aligned to what is right and divine. During the process of writing my book, one of the statements that came through was social justice is not divine nor righteous. And so there's a lot of cheerleaders out there for this social justice these days. Equity, equity, equity. Isn't that what you have in a house or something? Your equity? Isn't it? What does that have to do with equality? What does that have to do with equality? And this is another thing we have to move beyond as well, folks, is that black, white, yellow, pink, gay, bi, confused, all of those things, God's children, the demons have injected all of that stuff and have you fighting one another, instead of looking to where the real problem is, and it's the ones that are pushing the narratives on you. And so it's time to really cut the BS, cut it off, stop it, don't play in those games, come back to your heart, take some time every day to sit and be one with God that you are. The idea of rejection of God, and even, for you religious folks, it doesn't matter how much you tithe or how many times you go to church. If your actions do not align with what you are presenting to the world, it's felt. It's felt by those who are aligned with divine truth. And so you have to figure it out in your own life. Are you truly a God's child? Are you godly in all your actions and this is what I always say. If churches were really for God, where are all the community gardens at? Where are all the community gardens at? Why do we have so many homeless all over the world? And I'll just speak here in the Toronto area of Canada. Why do we have so many homeless on the street and the churches are empty? You know, and we've got people freezing on the street, and yet this country we bring folks in from other countries and we put them up in what used to be hotels and motels, and yet our homeless sleep on the street. You know, it's a warped system, and it's time that you and I, religious, non-religious, mostly non-religious, get back to our spiritual essence, because love is the essence of God, and that is who we each are. We are all emanations of Source, and there's some things aren't up for debate, folks, and we like to, in our meat suits, spend a lot of time debating, oh, who's right, who's wrong. It's so boring. It is so boring, and it does little to serve the greatest and highest good of humanity, the collective of humanity. So, anyways, what is God? God is the spark of life and light within you that created the beautiful heart that's beating and that beautiful body of yours that's breathing. And God is calling you back to your heart to align. Get offline and get aligned with your heart. So, God is the essence, the spark of who you are. I see you, I feel you, I love you. Talk soon. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Give me a thumbs up, write a comment down below. Let's open up the lines of communication. So I know that I'm not just sitting here talking to my computer alone in my house and my animals going, what the heck is she doing? Let me know what you're feeling. Check me out on Bitchute as well, a new channel over there. Lisa Lyle. It's there's 2 subscribers, so thank you to whoever else subscribed to me over there. Yay! And I'm looking forward to sharing more with you. I'm very excited about the way forward and upward that humanity is spiraling upon and within at this time. And it is the spiral of grace, and it is open and accessible to all of us who believe in the light that lives within. And if we can't believe in the light that lives within, believe in the light that was our dear brother, Jesus the Christ. Together and unified from the inside, we rise. Until next time, everyone, take good care.